Hello and welcome to another Orange Coast College mathematics video. In this video, we want to see how comparative language or terminology can be translated into inequalities. In many word problems, you see words like, a quantity is not greater than some other quantity, or Bill has no more marbles than Jane. And so this can give students trouble because they don't quite understand how to translate these phrases into inequalities that they need to set up. So we have a table here that has a bunch of them listed out. This is not all of them that there could ever be, but it is many of them. So some of these are pretty straightforward, less than or greater than, that's it. Less than or equal to shows up sometimes in different ways, like not greater than. So if I say Bill, the amount of money Bill has is not greater than the amount of money Jane has, right? Then what that means is that Bill has either the same amount of money as Jane or less, which is less than or equal to. You also see at most. Bill has at most the same amount of money as Jane. That means he can have less or an equal number. For greater than or equal to, we also see no less than, okay? Or at least is another one that's very common. And finally, we sometimes have, for inequalities, we have not equals to, which is often written as different from in more sort of normal language. Let's do an example. If X is the number of pets, translate the following sentence into an inequality. So if we see the number of pets in the store is fewer than 7, fewer means the number of pets in the store, right, has to be less than 7, whatever that is. So we would write X is the number of pets, X must be less than 7. Here's another example. If A is your age, translate the following sentence into an inequality. You must be at least 21 years old to buy alcohol. So at least 21 means that your age must be 21 or greater than 21, right? At least 21. So that means A is greater than or equal to 21. Example 3. If n is the recommended number of homework problems, translate the following sentence into an inequality. It is recommended you complete more than 20 homework problems. Okay, so what is the number of homework problems that's recommended you complete? More than 20. So it has to be greater than 20, right? More than means greater than. So n must be greater than 20. Now, if you're wondering, should it be greater than or equal to, read the sentence and ask, would 20 be an acceptable number of homework problems? If it says complete more than 20, and you did 20, is that enough? The answer should be no, more than 20. 20 is not more than 20. Sometimes, again, it can be helpful if you ask yourself, would a certain number satisfy the inequality? So let's look at the following example here. Let's suppose S is the number of swimmers in a pool, and we want to translate this sentence into an inequality. At most, 53 swimmers are allowed in the pool. So ask yourself, if it says at most 53 swimmers are allowed in the pool, if that was a sign you saw, and there were 53 swimmers currently in the pool, would that be okay? At most 53. Yeah. What about 54? Well, 54 would not be allowed, right? At most 53 means anything more than that is not okay. 52, that would be fine. That's less than 53. So at most 53 means 53 or fewer. So we want to write then S would be less than or equal to 53, right? Because anything 53 or less would be fine. Here's a slightly different example. If X is a number, translate the following sentence into an inequality. The domain is any number except 26. So what are the numbers that can be in the domain? 25, 27, any number except 26. So you might write X can be equal to anything but 26. The way you would write that is X is not equals to 26, right? Which is a more concise way of saying anything but 26. Here's our final example. If X is the amount of time Jake spent on studying, Y is the amount of time Jane spent on studying, let's turn this sentence into an inequality. Jane spent more time studying than Jake. So Jane is represented, the amount of time that Jane studies is represented by Y, and that is more time studying. So that quantity Y should be greater than X, which is the amount of time that Jake spent studying. So we would write Y is greater than X. You could also write X is less than Y, of course, means the same thing. Uh, but if we want to translate strictly based on what this sentence says, Jane spent more time studying than Jake, that means Y should be greater than X. And since it just says more time, it's strictly greater than. And that's it. This is going to take a little bit of practice, so go through more problems like this. And again, it might take a little bit of time to develop your intuition, but keep practicing. Until next time, have fun.